banks. A 6-month battle over secret Swiss bank accounts has been resolved. UBS says it has reached an agreement with the U.S. government. Switzerland's largest bank will release information on 4,450 accounts held by Americans suspected of tax evasion. IRS Commissioner Douglas Schulman told Bloomberg's Peter Cook in an exclusive interview earlier today that the deal was a huge victory for the U.S. Commissioner Schulman also said that as a result of this case, investigators are becoming aware of other entities that may be evading taxes.
We're finding out about financial institutions that facilitated tax evasion, and we're going to pursue them. And we're finding out about other intermediaries like law firms and others who promoted tax evasion. And we're going to have our targets set on all categories of folks. And so people should expect this kind of effort from the U.S. government to continue.
And Commissioner Schulman told Bloomberg that the accounts UBS agreed to lift secrecy represented about $18 billion in assets at their peak. The UBS settlement with the IRS has significance far beyond those two institutions. It's a strong signal that Swiss banks will no longer accept untaxed funds from the U.S. Joining us now is Alfred Mettler, a professor of finance at Georgia State University. He is also the only U.S.-based member of a Swiss task force on bank secrecy. Professor Mettler, welcome to Bloomberg News.
Thank you. Welcome to you.
Professor, is this a seismic shift? Is that an oversimplification?
I think it's a huge milestone in a battle that has been resolved now so that both sides can sort of claim a victory. I think what the IRS commissioner said is certainly true. The IRS has reached its goal. It will not get just money from a fine. It will get the names from clients that have not paid taxes. And from the Swiss side, I think it's under the given circumstances the best solution that could have been reached.
Professor Mettler, give us a little history about this, about Swiss banks and secrecy and how far back that goes.
Swiss bank privacy laws, as they are called in Switzerland, have a long history. They were created in the 1930s when political tension was rising in Europe, and it was a way so that people did not have to disclose their identity. They did not have to disclose that they have money, which otherwise would have been maybe taken away from them from the governments of different nations. Over time, it has then become a little bit a secrecy issue because it became clear that privacy can also mean secrecy, means you want to hide money from the tax collector.
Right.
But the awareness that this is not the money that you want in the long term, that started to become bigger and bigger among the Swiss banking community, I would say, at the beginning of this millennium.
But, Professor, we should still point out that at least in the short term, Switzerland's still going to be a place to put your money legally, correct?
Absolutely, there is no doubt about that. I think in the future we will really see the differentiation between secrecy and privacy. Privacy means you have money that you have that is taxed legally. It has there is nothing that you do not disclose to the tax authorities or to the government, but you do not want your neighbor to know that you have money, and you do not want the society to know because you are maybe afraid from negative reactions. So what are you looking for? You're looking for a place where you can count on reliability,
right,
knowledge, stability, stable currency, and all these things. So I think Switzerland has always been an attractive financial center for all these reasons, and there was a time, and of course secrecy played a role as well, but in the future I'm pretty sure it will mostly about the other positive aspects that a bank or a financial center has to offer.
Professor Mettler, the IRS Commissioner Douglas Schulman was on our air earlier today, and he told our Peter Cook that this accord is going to help the U.S., quoting here, pursue tax cheats around the world. Do you agree with that assessment?
I think it signals that the IRS will make a very serious attempt now to go after that money. I'm not quite sure if the UBS case can serve as a blueprint for other cases, because UBS was special in a way that the IRS had a lot of information and knew very precisely that US laws had been severely and in many instances violated. If a similar case arose, if another financial institution has done the same thing in terms of what they did and in terms of breadth,
right,
then I think the IRS would follow a similar procedure. But let's not forget, the first liable person for taxes is the citizen or the resident of the U.S., him or herself, right?
Yeah.
Only if the bank or the attorney or whoever did really actively go out and help to evade these taxes, then you can hold these institutions liable. But the first one that is
right,
being held liable is certainly the person, him or herself.
And Professor Mettler, we're going to have to leave it there. Alfred Mettler, professor of finance at Georgia State University, the only U.S. base member of a Swiss task force on bank secrecy. Thanks.